And I just add, Kevin, I completely agree with that. It'd be fun to do the same exercise for, the federal and public aspect of it, being grant money, how universities perform and so forth. And we've done some part of that analysis, not all of it, but that is certainly a much bigger universe that is driving and supporting quantum, which is also why I think that quantum is relatively recession-proof, and a quantum winter is not something that we'll see overall.
Awesome. So a couple of people we have on. So Phil, so the people that we have on camera, feel free to unmute your mics. So this is totally meant to be interactive. Phil, go ahead. Or did you have a question? We have two Phils, Philip and Phil. So either or is fine.
Oh, Philip Nikolaev, yeah, how are you?
Hi, Andre. Yeah, it was great to see you at Quantum Tech. And I did send you a follow-up message on LinkedIn, so please check that. I have a question for you. You mentioned a small but a definite commercial advantage emerging from quantum now in real time, sort of real, small but real. I'm having trouble understanding where it's coming from. Google has, the 2019 demonstration of quantum advantage. That was on a very abstract mathematical problem that has no real life application. And other things like that I've seen are also quite abstract. So it would be very useful if you could comment on that. And overall, a great talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Philip. I appreciate it, and I will check my messages. No worries, I'll get back to you. Yeah, so I think it is really emerging, and I think that's the key term, emerging, and maybe that's a little bit of semantics. How long that emerging will take, that could be another year or more. But you're starting to see a shift in kind of the publications. Forget these announcements of quantum advantage. That is still, kind of gaming the system a little bit in order to make these types of announcements. But you start to see a shift in the type of use cases that get published, and the quality of the results of these use cases, and it's a very gradual shift. But if you observe quantum over time, you notice how the results of these use cases, and I should say the use cases actually haven't changed, right? It's always the same: logistics, pharmaceutical, financial services. But the results really continue to approach something that is much more likely to deliver a real business impact. To me, the best example of that is D-Wave, and at this point, I consider what D-Wave is doing quantum computing. I think this whole debate, if it is quantum or not, is intellectual clownery. They are able to solve optimization problems, and if that is well done with a solution approach that is able to specify a good, very narrow optimization problem, and they have done that famously. Just 2 months ago, it was released, I believe, at the port of Los Angeles. That, of course, was in the news for all the backlog of container ships sitting outside of it, where they were able to show very, very significant increases in performance. Specifically, what they were doing, and to me, this is really the best example, they were able to track, to optimize the allocation of a single truck that arrives at the pier of the port of Los Angeles, to dispatch it to the best possible crane to optimally unload its containers. And don't quote me on the numbers. I think it was a 31% increase in improvement, and that is something that is in production now. So
yeah,
it's
I took
of that value chain. It doesn't affect the entire trucking system, right? It's only once it arrives at that pier, between the pier and the unloading.